Now, this wasn't exactly Pierre Poilievre's Apple moment, but in a recent interview, he was asked about the gender situation. The answer might surprise you. Ladies and gents, welcome back. Now, Donald Trump has been getting a lot of things done in the United States over the past couple of days. He's only been president for days, literally days, and lots of stuff is getting done. And one thing that he's done is address the gender question. Now, personally, I don't like to use the term gender. People are born in one sex or the other. You have a sex, male or female. Genders are generally spoken in terms of masculine and feminine. It's a grammar thing. If you want to get into that a little more, I can talk about it in my live stream tonight at 6:30 Pacific time or 9:30 Eastern. Come join us. We're having a community discussion. It's a great time. So come in for that. But let's get into this because this is interesting. Now, Donald Trump made an executive order saying that, no, we're only going to have two genders. That's it. Two, male and female. Again, masculine, feminine, whichever you prefer to say. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to we're not going to pander to wokeism. That's really what it is. Now, Pierre Poilievre was asked about this, and this is an interesting response that he gave.
First day on the job, President Trump signed an executive order, the U.S. government only recognizing two genders, male, female. They're unchangeable. If elected as prime minister, is that something that you're going to kind of walk in line with, or what are your feelings on that executive order?
Well, I don't know. Do you have any other genders that you'd like to name?
Me personally?
Yes.
I'm just asking more so if you're in line with what he is saying. Do you agree with what he's saying? Is that something that you would be lockstep with if elected as prime minister?
Okay, so first and foremost, I see what he's doing here. So it's the idea of putting the onus on the interviewer to justify your question. Justify your question entirely. What are you saying? So if you think that if the implication in this is that there are more than two genders, if there are more than two genders, name them. Why don't you tell me what some of these other ones are, or else let's just move on. Let's talk about something else because this is just asinine.
Sir.
Well, I'm not aware of any other genders than men and women. I mean, if you have any other that you want me to consider, you're welcome to tell me right now.
Well, there's personally, I am a man. I am people who say cis man. There are people there who they say they're gender neutral. Well, you are a man. Yes, there are people there who say they're gender neutral. Yeah, they say they're gender neutral. They're a trans person. Is that something?
Well, first and foremost, being neutral on something isn't the same as being something. If you're just neutral, it just means what? I haven't decided. I don't know what I'm gonna. No, you don't have these choices. You're one or the other of two sexes. That's it. If you want to identify as whatever, that's fine. That's your business. And the one that really makes me laugh is trans. What are you? It's the idea is that you're transitioning from one to the other. This is how it works. You're in transition. That's a thing. It's still a binary at that point. To which you might hear the term non-binary, which is it's just what? So then what? Define it. You still haven't defined it. You just said you're not the thing. I'm not the thing. Okay, well that's not a thing in its own. No, not at all.
That you would recognize here, whereas in the States, at least with their U.S. government, the way they're seeing it, there's only two.
I'm only aware of two, but I mean, if you come up with another list, then you're welcome to do that. But I'm aware of two, and as far as I'm concerned, we should have a government that just minds its own damn business and leaves people alone.
I hope that to be the case in the future. Now, of course, leftoids are freaking out about this. Wyatt Claypool pointing out that here's a leftist, Steve Boots, I've never heard of, melting down about Pierre Poilievre believing in two genders for 5 minutes. He goes on about it for some time. I'm just going to show a short clip.
So we're just going to loudly announce that we don't even have a basic understanding. Two-spirit. Sure, yeah.
Me personally?
Two-spirit? We're going to go over that.
I'm just asking more so if you're in line with what he is saying. Do you agree with what he's saying? Is that something that you would be lockstep with if elected as Prime Minister?
Well, I'm not aware of any other genders than men and women. And if you have any other...
So he is loudly announcing a lack of an even elementary school level understanding of this.
No, actually, what's happening is the interviewer has not an elementary school level, and this is a problem. This is supposed to be elementary school level. Why are we teaching this nonsense to our kids in the first place? That should be the question said here. Now, you brought up the term two-spirit. You look it up, and it's supposed to be this indigenous person's way of not being one or the other, that kind of thing. Two-spirit, also known as Two-Spirit, or occasionally Two-Spirited, very original, is a contemporary pan-Indian umbrella term used by some indigenous North Americans to describe Native people who fulfill a traditional third gender or gender variant social role in their communities. Now, you got to read down to see coined in 1990. This isn't traditional by any means, as a primarily ceremonial term promoting community recognition. In recent years, more individuals have taken to self-identifying as Two-Spirit. Two-Spirit as a term and concept is neither used nor accepted universally in Native American cultures. Indigenous cultures that have traditional roles for gender nonconforming people have names in their own indigenous languages for these people and the roles they fill in their communities. Now, what are we talking about here? We're talking about people who you just can't put a finger on, you know? And I kid. Richard Simmons is a man, is totally a man. But this is what they're referring to. Like, okay, that kind, one of those guys, right? Gotcha entirely. Now, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this whole concept. Now, this, again, it wasn't Pierre Poilievre's like Apple moment. It was a little cringy, to be honest. It was a little cringy, but the argument is there. It's the idea of putting the onus on the person asking the question. What do you even mean by this? Explain it so I don't have to explain it to people. Because you know what? When you do explain it to people, it just sounds ridiculous. It really does. It's nonsensical, and that's where we are with this. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Please leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think. And of course, we'll see you tonight in the live stream at 6:30 Pacific or 9:30 Eastern, depending on the time zone that you happen to be in. We'll see you then. Keep on trucking.